All right, we are back with another pick'em video, and today we have a 3-game slate in the NBA. I know it's Friday, but I would recommend playing lightly today. The market value is not there on a lot of these different platforms. The games in general are weird. The Hornets and the Sixers game, as of right now, we don't know who's going to play. The Hornets are dealing with injuries. Embiid is now questionable, but again, they're in a back-to-back set. We don't know what's going to happen over there, so kind of throwing that one out the window. That leaves us with 2 other games. The Thunder on a back-to-back. Damian Lillard's out for the Bucks. Just a bunch of weirdness that could happen for today. So tread lightly. With all that said, though, I do have some plays that I'm liking for today. Obviously going to point that out to you guys, show you the data behind it, hit rates, market value, matchups, injury news, injury implications, and you guys can ultimately decide if you want to add those to your slips, to your parlays, play them straight, however you want to do it. But yeah, with all that said, we're going to go over our plays from yesterday because, not because we do this every video, but we had really, really good reads. I think official video picks went 4 for 5 or 5 for 6. And then we talked about like 6 other leans, and a lot of those guys fell in, how we thought they were going to play as well. So that was hopefully an awesome day for you guys. If you made some money, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new around here, definitely go and subscribe, leave the video a like, and then again, comment something down below. Let's hop into the picks from yesterday, and then we'll get into plays for today. All right, so jumping into the desktop screen here, this was the slip that we talked about. Again, we went over the plays on PrizePicks, but Betr had better value. I always point that out to you guys. Better's just, they have better payout systems. They have daily discounts. Today it's Shea. They actually have 2 discounts every single day, so we took advantage of Jokic. If you're new to Betr or don't know what Betr is, definitely check it out. It's very similar to PrizePicks, but they have better lines, to be totally honest, and sometimes a better payout system. So definitely check out Betr. Use code RichPicks or check out the link in the description of this video, and you're going to get a free month of my Discord. You're going to get a $200 deposit match. It's a pretty sweet deal, and it's a really, really good app that you could just try out. So we went 4 for 5. The one miss was Peyton Pritchard, who ended with 14. I was at that game. There was a lot of threes put up and a lot of threes missed for the Celtics, but Pritchard ends on the hook. But everyone else, PJ Washington crushed his line. He had 9. Towns absolutely went off against his old team. He had 30 and 20. 52 points and rebounds. Cade Cunningham dominated over 35.5. How about 40? And then Jokic, obviously that discounted line, he crushed that with 34 against Portland. So really good reads overall. Again, hopefully you guys made some money. Maybe you went to Pritchard a different way, or maybe you didn't like him as much. And I want to talk about the leans as well, because we talked about LaMelo Ball. He absolutely dominated without Brandon Miller. 34, 4, and 13, 4 steals. We talked about Shea having a bounce back spot. He bounced back really, really well. 35, 4, and 6, and that's against the Orlando Magic, who are a good defense. We also talked about in that game, Jalen Suggs is under. Now, he only played 17 minutes because he had that ankle injury, but he started off pretty good. The ankle injury maybe saved us, maybe not. We're never going to know, but he didn't come close to his points line, his PRA line. He stayed well under that. We also talked about Jason Tatum. He played the best for the Celtics, 31 and 10. He had 4 assists, 2 steals, so he went over his PRA. That's how I ended up playing him. Not sure what the other lines were, but he probably went over his rebounds. He probably went over his points. Maybe not assists if that's the way you played him, but he had a good game. And then Sabonis, we talked about his assists. I actually ended up going to his fantasy score when I played him, and he always plays really, really well against the Lakers. I also told you just maybe sprinkle into a triple-double. He didn't get that, but he did come up just short there. So he crushed his fantasy score, adding those 2 blocks. He had like 50 fantasy score on like a 44 line, so that was a no sweat either. So a lot of good reads on the leans here as well. Maybe I'll continue to do stuff like that. They weren't official video picks, but I did spend time talking about each and every one of those guys. So hopefully you made some money last night. Again, we do this when we lose, we do this when we win. And yesterday was definitely a good day, and it makes sense with the huge slate that we had. It's not something we've had in recent days, the past week. I feel like we've had 1 game slate, 2 game slates. This is a 3-game slate today, but a nice big 13-game slate treated us well yesterday. All right, so maybe spent a little bit too much time on the recap there, but let's jump into some actual plays. This one's going to be a nice quick one. My favorite play of the day, Isaiah Hartenstein, under 2.5 dunks going up against Miami. Let's take a look at his outlier page, kind of see what's been going on. We're not going to be able to look at market value for this one because I think PrizePicks is the only place that does dunk lines, which is a lot of fun. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, there's not a lot of markets that have dunks, so we can't compare it. But he's been under in 9 of 12 games. So right off the bat, I want to look more into this because he has not been hitting this line now. Then you got to start thinking about the matchup, who's he's playing. Well, he's playing Bam Adebayo in the Miami Heat. Bam's one of the better defenders, rim protectors in the league. I wouldn't expect Hartenstein to be dunking all over Bam all night. And we've seen in the last 3 matchups, sometimes Hartenstein doesn't even play much against this. Maybe that's just been because he was in a different situation with the New York Knicks. He hasn't played them on the Thunder. He's going to probably get 30 or so minutes. But even in this game where he played a whole bunch of time on the Knicks, he had 0 dunks against them. So he hasn't played them well in the past. And again, thinking about who he's going up against in Bam, pretty good rim defender, a great defensive player overall, and could be a mismatch there. So Hartenstein's dunks looking really, really good. You continue to start thinking about these things. Okay, is he at home? Does he have the crowd behind him? No, he's away. And in away games, he's under 86% of those games. Okay, well, is he going to have his legs? He's on a back-to-back. We haven't seen him do that once this season, but he's on a back-to-back. And, usually guys that are on back-to-backs, going to be a little bit more tired. They're also coming off a cup run, an extra game here. So I don't expect Hartenstein to have the most energy he's had all season. So that's another thing here. So the compoundment of the fact that he hasn't been hitting this line already, he's away, and he's on a back-to-back set, and he's going up against a pretty good defense in Miami and Bam Adebayo. This looks like a pretty good under for us. So Isaiah Hartenstein, first play of the day. We're not going to have too many plays for today just because of that small slate, but I'm really liking Hartenstein. And then moving along to our next play here, because again, it's a smaller slate, the little value that I have been finding gets bumped pretty quickly. So I went to Jimmy Butler's 4.5 assists. They're only giving me a goblin and a demon now. So essentially they took away his 4.5 assist line. We're going to talk about a pivot here. If you want to take his assists as a goblin, you could go ahead and do that. But again, on Dabble did have it, but Betr had it still has it up at 4.5. Again, you can definitely check out Betr if you like. All the links in the description of my video. You're going to get some sort of perk for using my code. It's a great way to support the channel. And again, sometimes when these lines get bumped off, it's nice to have other books to look at, and you can start saying, oh, it's still available on Betr. Let me go make a slip over there. But I do want to point out the pivot here for Jimmy Butler. Probably going to be his fantasy score at 33.5. He's kind of in trade mode. He's trying to get traded. He's had all these different hair colors. He's kind of a troller in that way anyway. But Butler wants to be on a contender. The Miami Heat just aren't that right now. They're playing a tough OKC team, but they're on a back-to-back. So again, might not have the best legs that they've had in a while. They're actually favorites in this game, or it's been going back and forth. I guess it's a 1.5 point spread now in favor of OKC. But yeah, he's been hitting this line pretty consistently, 58% on the year. But the big thing is he's home, 75% of home games he's gone over this line, and he hasn't had less than 4. So this one should be relatively close. Again, tough defense here in OKC, so that could halter this, but all the books are favoring the over, like we just saw, minus 130 consensus average odds on the over. All these books that have it up still minus 134, minus 140. The books do like the over here. I do, again, because it's not available anymore, have the pivot of his 33.5 fantasy score. You could go to his PRA too, but he's just been killing it. He's coming off an insane game. I think he had 20 rebounds or something and 10 assists. He went nuts and he had 40 points on top of that. But fantasy score market value wise, DraftKings has this all the way up at 36.8. So that's a good spot. So maybe PrizePicks just a little bit too low here. And let's take a look at what he's been doing. Again, same thing at home. He's going to be having a pretty good bump. 11 to 19 games just in general this year, but at home. And look at this game. That's the game he's coming off of against Detroit that they lost. But home games over in 75%. So I do like to see that. Butler also a guy that steps up against tough teams. They played each other last year, and he able to crush this line. 43 fantasy points in that one. So decent little pivot. I think Butler's a good guy to go to. Again, he's kind of in trade mode. That's maybe not actually, but it seems like ever since those trade rumors have come up, his play has increased. So Butler, fantasy score, assist is the way that I played it, but I think he's in a good spot to have a good game today. Then moving along to the third play here, one I really, really like. I'm liking more and more as I look more into it. No Damian Lillard for the Bucks, so I think Giannis is going to at least have a bunch of opportunities to shoot. Obviously, he already does, but without Dame in the lineup, that's just more opportunities for a guy like Giannis. He's got a tough matchup here against Cleveland. I hope I don't see a blowout, especially coming off the NBA Cup championship. They might take their foot off the gas just a little bit, especially again, kind of dealing with some injuries with no Dame. If the Cleveland Cavaliers are hitting shots, if they look really, really good, they stomp these guys early, this might be the only reason that this gets affected. But if it stays close, if Giannis keeps these guys in the game, 20 field goals attempted is the way I want to play Giannis today. Again, doesn't have to be making his shots, but he does have to be aggressive. And he has seemed like he had that mindset in every interview he's taken, and he wants to just keep winning with this team. So 20 field goals attempted. The first thing I'm actually going to show is there is a little bit of market value. 4 other books have this line up, and they all have it at 20.5. And they all have it favored on the over. So 20 seems a little bit too low here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Giannis' field goals attempted. It's the best over in terms of his last 20 games, hitting it consistently. So I like to see that. 70% hit rate the last 20 games. You can see in 24 games this season, 67% hit rate. And then the 3 games without Damian Lillard so far this year, he also went over in 2 of those 3 games. Not sure what happened in Toronto. That was a very, very low scoring, probably low pace game, but he only shot 12 times and he hit 9 of them. So weird one there. I think that might have been like a Bobby Portis game that he went off. Not totally sure on that. But yeah, low scoring fare there. But the other ones really crushed this line. And then he also played these guys once this year. He missed the other matchup against them, but he shot 27 times in a 113-114 loss to them. So was aggressive. Again, Cleveland, good defense, but at the same time, they play a little bit higher pace and a higher pace offense. So Giannis should have a decent amount of opportunities here. So good market value that I can find. Not a whole lot of books have it, but 20 is lower than all the other ones, and they're still favored on the over for the other books. So 20.0 makes sense to me with no Dame. Hopefully he keeps it close. If this blows out, that's what you got to deal with. Sometimes that does happen, and that can ruin parlays. But this one looking pretty good if it stays relatively close. All right, so that's going to do it for the PrizePicks plays for us. Again, only 3 of them. I really could not find anything else that I liked on PrizePicks for a normal line. And you don't want to force anything. You don't want to play stupid. You don't want to add something that you're like, I don't really love that to a play just because. But I don't do 3-mans on PrizePicks. So I went ahead and found my best goblin out there, and it is an NHL play, Lucas Raymond. It checks like every box for me. It's got ridiculous market value, minus 253, minus 303. Very, very good, likely to hit. And it's literally checking every single box in terms of like matchup, 31st ranked in terms of points allowed. That's really good to see. Assists, goals, dead last almost in both those categories. Then you look at what he's done so far this year. 23 of 31 games, he's gone over the 71% hit rate. He's at home where it goes up to an 88% hit rate. They're also favorites in this game. Games they've won by 2+, which is the spread right now, 86% hit rate. Even games they've won by 1+, 85% hit rate. So really, really checking every box. That's going to boost this 3-man play that would be giving us 5x on PrizePicks, which is horrible value, to a nice 4-man that's giving us 8x because it's a goblin play. So I don't mind that goblin play. It looks like a shoe-in for me. So I'm really kind of thinking about this as getting 8x for a 3-man, which would of course be worth it. Never do 3-mans on PrizePicks. If you don't know, I do a little math channel over here, or I don't do one. I just type this out for everyone to kind of figure out what they want to be playing on PrizePicks, the target hit rates, the break-even hit rates that you need to be hitting, and 3-man flex plays, 3-man power plays are one of the worst plays on PrizePicks. You can get 6x for 3-mans on Underdog, you can get 6x for 3-mans on Dabble, so I never want to be getting 5x for a 3-man on something like Underdog. So that's how I played it, added this Lucas Raymond play to get it up to an 8x. I don't mind that at all, and threw a normal 1 unit on it. So I know this isn't NBA, but Lucas Raymond, really, really good goblin today. So that is going to do it for me today. Again, 4-man with the goblin gets us a nice 8x play here. I did think I said I was going to give you guys a better slip. LaMelo Ball, as I was doing this video, got ruled out for today, along with Brandon Miller and Mark Williams. So looks like the Hornets are resting everyone just because they're dealing with a lot of injuries. So they're going to be missing a whole lot of guys. That makes me think Joel Embiid's not going to play today. If he does play, that's so soft because he's going to come in here, play against a Hornets team that is going to have no defensive pressure at all, a bad team, and then he's going to go ahead and sit against Cleveland because they play them tomorrow. They're on a back-to-back. First game tonight, next game tomorrow. So that would be such a classic soft Embiid move. I know he's dealt with a whole bunch of injuries, had a whole bunch of issues going on, but I don't like the way that he's been going about this season. Maybe he's injured again. I know he's got that sinus fracture or whatever it might be, but he's just a frustrating player. I know I'm a Celtics fan, so it's easy to hate on Embiid, but I do respect the fact that he battled through injuries, had that Ball's palsy, or I don't even know what that thing's called, but when he was blinking, one half of his face wasn't working and things like that. But it would be so soft if he goes out and plays today and ends up not playing against Cleveland tomorrow. That would just irk me a little bit. But with that said, I would think you go to Maxey. I would think you go to Paul George, thinking of Embiid not playing. But again, Embiid probably will play tonight and have a nice off day against an actual hard team in Cleveland. But yeah, that's my rant on that. But here's a better slip. LaMelo Ball not playing, so this is going to turn into a 3-man. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a discount on Betr. Again, if you're not on Betr, definitely check him out. Use code RichPicks when signing up. free $200 deposit match, free month of the Discord, so you can't really beat that. Jaime Hawk is at 2.5 rebounds. I like that line a lot. And then this Mahomes lines I'm really, really liking. I'm just going to leave you guys with this. Going to go to PrizePicks. I'm going to go to what's on the market right now. Again, not a whole lot going on. DG Fantasy, again, Outlier, all these tools I'm using, you guys can get free weeks of Outlier. You can get a discount on your first month for DG Fantasy, showing you the market value all here. If these billion-dollar companies are, saying something else and they're consensusly, favoring one side, and PrizePicks doesn't matter if we take the over or the under. That's kind of how you can play market value. But just going to scroll through here some of the plays. Isaiah Hartenstein, I don't love that just because he hasn't played the Heat very well, but market value saying that this is a pretty good line. Duncan Robinson under points. There's the Jimmy Butler assist. Maybe it's back up. Maybe they didn't add it right now, but yeah, you can just go through. This is the market value on PrizePicks. If you guys want to check out Betr, again, they're going to have a whole bunch more market value. You can look through here, maybe get any ideas from the best plays. Again, a lot of these best market value plays get bumped pretty quickly, but if you're watching and some of these are still available, maybe something to look into. I'll leave you guys with Dabble. Definitely go ahead and check out Dabble. They are awesome. $25. You don't even have to put your credit card in. Use code RICHDFS when signing up for Dabble. They have ridiculous market value. These are all platforms that are very, very similar to PrizePicks. And then the last one that's similar to PrizePicks is something like Underdog. That's code RichPicks as well. Let's see if Underdog has any value right now. I'm going to go to minimum data points too, just because I don't want to be looking at, comparing just one book. And they got a little bit of value here too. So maybe you're not getting anything over this. Maybe you already clicked off, but want to point out some other market values that's showing right here. And again, maybe you'll find some winners as I just scroll through here. But that's going to do it for me. Again, not the best day in the world. For market value, not the best day in the world to bet, especially in the NBA, not a big slate. So tread lightly. Have a good Friday. Hopefully I found you guys some winners in the little value that we did find out there. And again, if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more NBA action when we have a huge slate of games, just like we did yesterday, and we killed it. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.